The night pressed down like a heavy lid. Cold seeped through the ground, through the fabric of the uniform, into the bones. The ruined factory lay silent, its broken windows staring into darknesses like empty eye sockets. Some were far away, artillery muttered, dully and lazy, as if the war itself was half asleep but never truly resting. Ivane Sokolowe lay motionless in the snow. His cheek was numb against the frozen earth, but he didn't shift. Even blinking felt too loud. He counted his breaths, slow and shallow, letting the rhythm steady his pulse. The smell around him was familiar now, burnt fuel, rusted iron, old smoke sucked into concrete. The smell of places people honestly worked, lied, lived. Now only soldiers crawled here, waiting to kill or be killed. He adjusted the rifle slightly, millimeter by millimeter, careful not to scrap metal. The cracked scope shaved the road below, a narrow strip cutting through the trees, half buried in snow. This was the choke point. This was where they would come. Ivane's thoughts drifted for a second. His mother's kitchen, warm bread, the radio playing too loudly. He pushed it away instantly. Memories were dangerous. Memories got you killed. A faint vibration reached him through the ground. Engines. His jaw tightened. He focused, every sense sharpening. The vibration grew stronger, resolving into the low growl of heavy vehicles. Headlights flickered between the trees, cutting thin white lines through the mist. Ivan watched patiently, finger resting alongside the trigger, not on it. Too early was as bad as too late. The radio in his ear crackled softly. Movement, 200 meters. The voice was tense, controlled. Ivan didn't reply. They already knew he was there. Silence was his answer. The convoy emerged fully now, armored trucks, mud-streaked, moving with careless confidence. Soldiers rode on the sides, weapons slung low, helmets loose. They thought this road was safe. They thought wrong. Ivan exhaled slowly. The load truck rolled forward, its tears crunching over ice and debris. It crossed the shattered rail line, twisted metal half hidden under snow. Ivan felt the moment settle into place, like a lock-clicking shot. This was it. His fingers slid onto the trigger. No hesitation, no prayer. The shot broke the night. The explosion came a heartbeat later. Fire erupted beneath the load truck, lifting it off the road as if the earth itself had rejected it. Metal screamed. The blast wave slammed through the trees, snapping branches and throwing snow into the air like white smoke. For a split second, the night turned bright as day, orange flames, black silhouettes, bodies frozen mid-motion. Then everything moved at once. Shouts tore through the chaos. Gunfire cracked in panicked bursts, bullets ripping into the dark, searching for a target they couldn't see. The truck crashed down on its side, burning fiercely, fuel spilling and igniting in long, crawling tongues of flame. Ivan was already moving. He rallied to his right as return fire stitched the ground where he had been. Snow sprayed over him. He came up on one KNE, fired twice, clean shots. A soldier fell from the second truck, his weapon clattering uselessly onto the road. Ivan slid behind a chunk of concrete as a heavy machine gun opened up, chewing through rubble. He pressed his back against the cover, breathing hard now, adrenaline flooding his veins. The world narrowed to sound and motion, no fear, no doubt, just action. He pulled a grenade from his vest, thumbed the pin, and waited. The gunfire paused for a fraction of a second, reloading. Ivan threw. The grenade vanished into the smoke. The blast punched outward, silencing the machine gun in a burst of shrapnel and screams. Ivan didn't wait to see the result. He sprinted forward, boots slipping on ice, rifle tied to his shoulder. Bullets snapped past his head. One punched through his sleeve, hot and close. He ignored it. Pain was information, nothing more. He dropped to a KNE, fired again. Reloaded by touch alone, fired again. An enemy soldier rushed him from the side, eyes wide, shouting something Ivan couldn't hear. Ivan pivoted and smashed the rifle butt into the man's face, felt bone jive. He shoved the body aside and kept moving. Smoke thickened, stinging his eyes. Flames reflected off the snow, Turning it red, then black. Somewhere a horn wailed uselessly, trapped in a loop. A sharp udar slammed into Ivane's chest plate, knocking the air from his lungs. He stumbled back, heart hammering. Not penetration. He was still alive. Солдатик, fall back. The radio crackled urgently. Ivan spat blood, steadied himself. Negative, he muttered. He grabbed a fallen launcher from the road, swung it onto his shoulder, and aimed at the second truck as it tried to reverse. The driver panicked, wheels spinning helplessly on ice. Ivan squeezed the trigger. The rocket hit dead center. The truck vanished in fire and smoke, the explosion rolling outward like a thunderclap. Debris rained down, clattering against metal and stone. The remaining soldiers broke, scattering into the trees, fearing blindly as they ran. Ivan stood in the open now, chest rising and falling, ears ringing, hands trembling slightly as the adrenaline began to ebb. The road was a wreck of twisted steel and burning wreckage. The convoy was finished. Silence crept back in, broken only by crackling flames and distant echoes of retreating footsteps. Ivan lowered his weapon. The job wasn't done yet, but the worst of it was over. The silence didn't last. A sharp crack split the air, close to a close. Ivan felt the impact a fraction of a second later. The world lurched as something slammed into him from the side, hard enough to tear his feet out from under him. He hit the ground and slid across as ice and ash, the blood crushed from his lungs. Then came the pain. It bloomed hot and deep, radiating from his shoulder down his arm. His rifle skidded out of reach. Ivan rallied instinctively, just as bullets chived into the snow where his head had been. He dragged himself behind the wreck of the first truck, chest heaving, vision pulsing at the edges. Sniper. He clenched his jaw and forced himself to stay still. Panic crept in, whispering fast and ugly, but he shoved it down. Panic was loud. Loud got you killed. Blood sucked through his sleeve, warm despite the cold. He pressed his teeth into the fabric and pulled, tearing it open to see the damage. A graze, deep, ugly, but not fatal. His hand shook as he wrapped it tight, tying the bandage with his good arm. Another shot rang out. Metal shrieked as it ricocheted off the truck as from inches from his head. Ivan closed his eyes for a second and listened. The fire crackled. Ammunition popped inside the burning vehicle. Wind moved the smoke in slow waves. And there, barely audible, a careful shift of weight on snow. 2 o'clock. Elevated. Ivan reached for a sidearm, checked the magazine by feel. 3 rounds left. Enough if he didn't miss. He grabbed a loose piece of metal and tossed it to the left. It clanked loudly as it hit the road. The sniper fired. Ivan surged out from cover on the opposite side, ignoring the scream of pain in his shoulder. He ran low, zigzagging, boots slipping, heart pounding like it might burst. Another shot cracked past him, close enough to feel the air move. Ivan slid behind a collapsed wall and didn't stop. He climbed. Broken concrete tore at his gloves. His wounded arm burned with every movement, but he kept going, teeth clenched, blood rugged. He reached the top and rallied over just as the sniper turned, surprised. They locked eyes for a split second. Ivan fired once. The sniper dropped backward out of sight. Ivan stayed there, gun raised, counting seconds. 1, 2, 3, no movement. He slumped against the wall, suddenly exhausted beyond words. His whole body shook now, the delayed cost of everything had forced it to do. He checked the road below, no movement, no voices, just smoke and fire and wreckage. The radio crackled again, calmer this time. Area looks clear, extraction inbound. Ivan let his head fall back against the cold concrete. The night sky above was faintly visible through drifting smoke, stars distant and indifferent. He thought, briefly, about how small everything looked from up here. The war, the road, himself. He pushed the thought away. Slowly, carefully, Ivan stood, retrieved his rifle, and made his way back down toward the road. Each step hurt, each breath reminded him he was still alive. For now, that was enough.